Good morning and welcome to the second part of today's Boston Public Facilities Commission meeting. I'm going to turn over to TT.
Thank you, Chair Craven. Good morning again, Commissioners. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast live. I will now ask the PFC Secretary, Colleen Daly, to take a roll call of the meeting participants. Colleen, if you would please conduct the roll call.
Thank you, TT. Please unmute your device and confirm your presence when I call your name. Beginning roll call with the Commission. Catherine Craven, Chair.
Present.
Larry Mamoli, Commissioner.
Present.
Donald Wright, Commissioner.
Present.
TT Lee, Legal Advisor.
Present.
Catherine Pendleton, Article Clerk.
Present.
And with the Boston Fire Department, Commissioner Paul Burke.
Present.
Kevin Coyne, Deputy Commissioner of Administration and Finance for the Fire Department.
Present.
I'll read for the record the remainder of the individuals in attendance. Attendees, you do not need to unmute your device. Chief of Operations Rodney Marshall, Support Services. Deputy Chief Bart Shea, Special Operations Command for BFD. Connie Wong, Deputy Commissioner, Legal Affairs and Human Resources. Neil Janowitz, Senior Assistant Corp Counsel. And Trish Cafferty, Deputy Chief of Operations, Capital Investment and Special Projects, Mayor's Office. This concludes roll call.
Thank you, Colleen. Beginning with the Boston Fire Department today, we have Paul Burke, Commissioner of the Boston Fire Department. BFD has one vote request on the agenda for today. Before I read vote number one, I would like to note for the record that Commissioner Mamoli has provided a signed disclosure on the matter and therefore will not be participating in this vote. Vote number one is being presented jointly by Commissioner Paul Burke and Kevin Coyne, Deputy Commissioner for Administration and Finance with the Boston Fire Department. This is a unique acquisition for additional space by amendment to the vote of December 13, 2023 concerning an existing lease by and between 151 and 155 Rivermore Street LLC and the City of Boston's Fire Department for property located at 151 Rivermore Street in the West Roxbury District of the City of Boston. The amendment terms include additional interior and exterior space with all other terms and conditions of the existing lease, which shall remain in effect with the exception of additional cost with respect to the additional space. Commissioner Burke and Kevin, if you would please present your vote request.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Commission for their work on the expansion of this lease. A little bit of history is that Harvard, we had this facility in a Harvard facility, and several years ago they asked us to vacate. So we moved over here. We realized that the technical rescue and the hazmat rescue, along with driver's training, was such a big program with so much equipment and personnel that we needed this space. And we're grateful that the Commission has allowed us to seek this additional space in the expansion of this current lease. I'd like to introduce Kevin Coyne, who will give you more of the particulars on this. Thank you very much for this meeting today, everybody online here. Kevin?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Madam Commissioner and Commissioners. I'm here with the Boston Fire Department and my colleagues today to request a vote for approval to amend a real estate lease with 151-155 Rivermore Street, LLC, and the Boston Fire Department for the Special Operations Command Center. The Public Facilities Commission previously reviewed and approved the original lease on December 13, 2023, which comprised of 20,946 square feet of usable rental square feet of space in the building located property along with 84 parking spaces for the Boston Fire Department Special Operations Command. We recommend as most advantageous site for the Special Operations Command. The Boston Fire Department Special Operation is responsible for specialties of public safety, hazmat unit, technical search and rescue, confined space and trench rescue, collapse rescue, high angle rescue, swift water response, the marine, and the dive team. Currently, there are approximately 12,109 square feet of unused but usable rental square feet of open warehouse space located within the building at the property, along with additional parking area outside the building that is not subject to the lease and is not leased by any other person or entity. Allowing the expanded lease will allow the Boston Fire Department to partner with the Office of Emergency Management so that we can store and access critical equipment needed and supplies for emergency preparedness. The additional space will allow Special Operations Command to increase the training and educational needs of the department. The landlord and tenant desire to lease the remaining 12,109 square feet of open warehouse space within the building and property along with 16,675 of exterior parking space. With assistance from the Boston Planning Department, the Real Estate Division, Boston Fire was able to renegotiate the lease to acquire this additional lease of interior and exterior space. The cost, based on the additional space only of 12,109 square feet, is $32 per square feet and will escalate $1 each year. The 5-year lease remains the same and will run through December 31st, 2028, with an option to renew for an additional 5 years, taking us through December 31st, 2033. Boston Fire Department is here today to seek approval and intend to amend the lease to include the additional lease premises for the remainder of the term and option term if exercised, subject to the same terms and conditions as set forth in the original lease. The Boston Fire Department posted a public notice in the Central Register and a notice in the City Record and on boston.gov. If now I can direct your attention to some slides just to give you an overview of what exactly the space looks like in West Roxbury, please. So this is the introduction. Next slide, please. So again, I just recap what exactly the Special Operations Command does. I think Commissioner Burke spoke a little bit about how this has changed over the years. From when they went to a space in Harvard, and fire operations in general have changed tremendously. So I think a lot of the responses that Special Operations Command is responding to today, is much more of a technical nature. With confined space, collapse, rescue, and previously, even when the Boston Fire Department had the facility at Harvard, a lot of equipment was being stored all over the city. Since we've moved to this location, it has improved the operations of the Special Operations Command, and with this additional space, will give us even greater access to be able to store things in the building, share space with Office of Emergency Management, and conduct specialized trainings throughout the year. Next slide, please. This is just an outside of what the building looked like, when we signed the original lease in December of 2013. The landlord has done some, exterior work, so it looks a little bit different today. Next slide. So what you're seeing here is, the blue space is what makes up the original lease. The white space on the right of the screen is that 12,109 square feet, and that's what we're here seeking approval on today to amend this lease. Next slide. There is a second floor to this building, and that's the blue shaded areas. Where it's all white, that's all open warehouse space. So, the ceiling, or the floor to ceiling on the first floor, goes right up to the ceiling. But we do have, in the center of the screen, in the front here, we have just a little bit of office space and lobby on the first floor. And on the second to the left is a training room and some other offices. Next slide, please. So what we're looking at here is the original, lease, which includes the parking for the building. So again, on Livermore Street side in the front to the right, you'll see there is a parking in the front of the building, and then the additional 84 spaces that make up the back of the building. Next slide, please. This is, again, just a slide highlighting, the area in pink that we're here requesting, the 12,109 square feet today. Again, we will be sharing the space with the Office of Emergency Management so they can store some of their much needed emergency preparedness supplies. Next slide. This is an aerial shot of the additional square footage that Public Capital Investments was able to negotiate with the landlord in terms of getting additional parking spaces with this lease amendment today. So it's 16,000 some odd square feet, which again, the additional parking is critical for the work that they're doing now. Next slide. And that pretty much wraps up, the reason why we're here today. For these reasons, we're seeking the Public Facilities Commission approval and acceptance and permission to move forward with the lease of space at 155 Livermore Street, LLC. And I look forward to discussing and answering any questions you may have. Thank you for your time and attention this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Commissioner. Sorry that I'm not on. I'm sick at home. So, any questions from the commissioners?
No questions.
John, do you have a motion?
Motion to approve, second?
And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vote number 1 is hereby approved. This concludes BFD's agenda for today's meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting?
Motion to adjourn. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.